Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sportsball Jersey. Joe Archino back here, and we revisit comments that were made yesterday by LeBron James, kind of talking about how he feels that internal conflict is good for a championship characteristic team. And right now, I think those comments made the way that they were in the performance of the Cavaliers last night are very telling of the troubling signs right now and ahead for the Cavaliers, and certainly losing 106-103 to the Grizzlies last night, where the Grizzlies were down. They were missing four of their players, and to be honest, they just out hustled the Cavaliers largely in that game. They just played harder than they did, and largely Cleveland, it's not a perfect situation right now. We see it, and it's easy to look at Cleveland's record, first place in the Eastern Conference, largely have been untested, and say that things are just fine. But it's not. There are major problems, major concerns with this Cavaliers team right now, and I think we go back to LeBron's comments that he made the other day. Now, he has been sending out a lot of cryptic tweets without directly calling out people by name, but in his own words, kind of calling people out on the team, situations that he feels need to be fixed. And I think right now, with the comments that he made, what he said to the media, the fact that they follow that up as a team and lose a game the way that they did to the Memphis Grizzlies is a very telling sign of trouble right now for this Cavaliers team. And I think you have to look at it in terms of this. We shouldn't be having these conversations right now. This is year 2 of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Year 1 was defined at the first half of it by struggle. The second half, once they got Mozgov, once they got J.R. Smith, and once they got Iman Shumpert, was defined by just being terrific. They were fantastic. They figured it out. But this season, it just seems like from the start, it never really all clicked together. And I think for the most part, that is very troubling, that the fact that this team has now been together another season. If anything, they added more veteran presence to this team, and they don't look better. They look like the chemistry is not better. If anything, right now, I mean, since the All-Star break, I think they had that big win against Oklahoma City, handing them their biggest loss of the year at home. But since then, the chemistry has really, really looked like it's just taken a derailment, and it's one of those things where it's very easy to see what we're watching. The Cavaliers are not moving around. They're not very active. It's really one-on-one, dribble, 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 shoot, instead of passing the ball like the Warriors do, like the Spurs do, like the teams that are in a position right now to do big things. Cleveland is not in that position right now. And again, I know it's so easy to look at the record, look at the standings, and say, what are you talking about? But you got to go beyond those things sometimes. And the comments that have been made recently, GMs today saying that they think that the chemistry between Kyrie and LeBron is non-existent. Just reports last week that Kyrie Irving would like to play elsewhere. There are a lot of signs. The deck is stacked against Cleveland right now, and I think you have to look at it like it was in Miami. Did Miami have these problems? And largely, LeBron was the most important player on the court there. But Dwayne Wade always maintained his ability as being the leader on that team. LeBron, too, to an extent, but that was still, the leadership role was still in Wade's hands. And right now, LeBron is the undefined leader of this team. And I think you've got to look at it. There maybe is some criticism that is deserved on his part because the way he has handled certain things this season, the way the David Blatt firing was handled, the way that the chemistry is just not grown at times, and the way that, frankly, these cryptic tweets have come out and the comments yesterday came out, to me, I think you have reason to question his strength as a leader. Again, when LeBron had his most successful run in the NBA, those 4 years in Miami, was he always the guy who had to be the leader? He was not. His first go-around in Cleveland, although I don't think that there's anything that's deservedly being criticized of him during his first stint there because he had no help, but he still had to be the leader there. I think maybe for LeBron, he doesn't do as good a job being the man running the show. And right now, the way he is, everybody handles things differently. But clearly, the way that his team responded after that kind of big showing with the media the other day, it clearly didn't work. It clearly, the effort and everything else that was shown by the Cavaliers last night was not the response you would have expected after LeBron made the comments that he did, said what he did. I really do think that we need to look at LeBron's leadership a little bit and kind of say, what's going on here? And I think part of it, too, is Wade and Bosh were battle-tested. These were guys who were able to put aside the petty things, the numbers, because they wanted to win more. They had been in a point in their careers where winning was really all that mattered. And I think Kyrie and Kevin Love are still so young in their NBA careers, and maybe they're not as battle-tested and hardened as a Chris Bosh was and as a Dwayne Wade was. But it's one of those things right now where you look at the way things are lining up for the Cavaliers, and right now the burden is just all over the place, and it's one of those things where they're just not, the cohesion is not there like it should be. The growth is not there like it should be, and it's so hard to put your finger on top of one identifiable thing, but you've never gotten the sense this season that it's been perfect. You've always gotten the sense that there's been something wrong, something has not been right, and I don't know if I have the perfect answer for it, but all I can tell you is I've watched almost every minute LeBron James has played these last 5 years, and even last year I thoroughly thought Cleveland could win the title once they made the moves at the trade deadline that they did, because the way Kyrie Irving was playing, the chemistry him and LeBron had with each other was flawless. But that same chemistry has not carried over to this season since Kyrie came back from his injury. Something is wrong there. I don't know if I can explain it. I don't know if Brian Windhorst or anyone else can explain it. But there's a fundamental disconnect with the Cleveland Cavaliers right now, and I think it starts at the top. I think the two other most important players on that team, the disconnect hits with them as well, and that loss to the Grizzlies after the comments LeBron had made were just more case in point to why I think everything is wrong with this team right now. But there is still time to figure things out. There's like 20 games left in the season for Cleveland. The time is now. LeBron, the time is now, and we'll certainly see if the Cavaliers can make those adjustments, but it certainly is not a great time for Cleveland Cavaliers basketball right now. Until then, Jersey, Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino, and I'll see everybody next time.